Hi, this is Ty from Inspire Planner, and today I'm going to walk you through our new Agile project management functionality. Okay, so from the Projects tab, you can see here I'm going to hit New. When creating new projects now with Agile enabled, you'll see that you'll be prompted with three different project type options. Standard, which is our current functionality around our Gantt chart and waterfall methodology. Agile, which is the new functionality I'll be walking you through today. And then Taskless, which will be coming in a subsequent video. Okay. So I'll select Agile, hit Next. Here I'll be prompted with my new project details here, Acme app. I'm going to define it being our product development project for Acme. And you can see over here that we also need to specify a project key, which will be used to assign task keys to all of the tasks that are created as part of my Agile project here. Again, this is just a standard Salesforce page layout. You can easily configure this to include fields that you'd like to track as part of your Agile projects. Okay, I'm going to hit Save. That's going to save my project record and launch me into my project planning interface. As you can see now, we're going to have a few different tabs that you're used to seeing or not used to seeing now that we have our Agile functionality. So for Agile projects, you would first start by selecting the settings page. And this is where within the settings tab, you can toggle the option of either enabling time tracking on your Agile project or disabling it. The act of enabling it will also include our time tracking components as you go through and manage your different user stories and tasks within the Agile project. So I'll leave that as active. Next, what we need to do is we need to define the different statuses that are going to be displayed within our Kanban board. And so from here, let's just go and start to build out these various statuses. As you can see, once I input a status, you then need to map it to an existing task status because we still are creating Salesforce tasks and assigning those to our team members. You're going to also need to then take the Kanban status and map it to an existing Salesforce task status. So we can see here in queue is not started. We can need to also define a percentage of complete. So I would just go and eventually fill out the rest of the different statuses here in development. Let's say in QA, productization, and then complete. Okay, so from here we can say that these statuses are in progress and this one is completed. And we can input the various percentages here, 45, 60, 80, 100, okay? And so as the user stories or the tasks get moved across the Kanban board into the various Kanban statuses, it'll automatically sync those tasks to the appropriate task status that has been mapped, as well as automatically update the percent complete to the relevant percent complete associated to that Kanban status. So from here, we'll hit save. Once that is saved, you'll then be able to see under active sprints all of the different Kanban statuses we just created. All right, so next step would be under our backlog now to go and start to create all of our different user stories, bugs, epics, etc. So again, here I would hit create. We can define feature ABC here. That's going to be our user story. We can then select different types, so bug for feature XYZ, and so on and so forth. Okay, so you can see how easy that is. Once a user story or item has been created, you can click to select them. From here, it'll expand the detail section, and once that detail section is displayed, you'll be able to go ahead and complete the details for that item. So here, I'm going to hit edit. You can see I can define the notes here. This is a feature that will allow us to automate ABC. Okay, Scrolling down, you can see that you can score your items with various story points, define effort if you like, and that's going to allow us to then prioritize and manage those into the sprints. And then we can also predefine roles in here if we'd like. So at this point, I'm going to hit save. You can see the details here. The story points are going to translate over into my backlog, and I'll be able to see the story point scores and also be able to see the aggregation of that score as I start to add items to my sprints that I'm adding. Okay, so let's just do the same for these here. So feature XYZ does not operate. And this can be a 5. Within the detailed section here, we also support a field set. So if you have custom fields that you'd like to display as part of your Agile task details, you can also add those as part of the configurations as well. Okay, and this is going to be 10, and hit save. So in addition to being able to populate the details here, I'm just going to go up to the menu at the top. You can see that we can click and log and track time as an action within a user story. We can post a chatter here if we'd like, if we want to comment or collaborate with other team members. Scrolling down further, you can start to see that we can also create subtasks as well. So if this is a parent and we want to incorporate a subtask here, to update setting feature 1, 2, 3, etc., you can start to see that those subtasks can be incorporated accordingly. All right, so now that we have our backlog established, now we can start to create our sprints and start to manage those sprints and prioritize the user stories accordingly based on sprints. So from here, we would define our summer 22 release if we wanted to, sprint 1, and we can define a predefined sprint duration of 1 to 4 weeks, which will auto-calculate dates for you accordingly. Or you can just define a custom time frame. We can also identify what our team max story points capacity is, and then what our sprint goal. Okay. All right, so now that we have our sprint established, we can see there's a max of 60 points, and now we can start adding items from our backlog into our sprint. Okay, it's going to start to give us a sum of that and how we're tracking to the overall max of that sprint from a story points perspective. So now that we have our sprints established, our user stories and our items that have been added to the sprint, you can see up at the top we have a filter bar where we're able to expand and collapse that. Within the filter bar, we can start to filter by a specific sprint that we want to look at. We can start to search for specific tasks within our project. You can filter by specific assignees, as well as epics, versions, etc. Okay. So from here, once we have established that sprint and now we want to start the sprint, we can jump over into the Active Sprints tab, and that's going to now list all of the different user stories that we've added to our sprint, essentially. And so next would be to assign the work to our team. You can see when we start to do that, it's going to list a blank list because we don't have any team members. So first off, to resource the team, we jump over into the Resources tab and start to define our team here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add Nishit to our team. I'm going to add Charles to our team, and I will add Ross. Okay. So now we have 3 team members on our team. So now if I jump back into the active sprints, I'll be able to reload that quickly. And now we'll be able to see those team members available to assign the work to. Okay. So then essentially the team would continue to work through the various user stories and update the statuses accordingly. You'll be able to see in here sort of the different actions that can be performed. So if you want, they can log time. They would be able to launch and post to Chatter and collaborate accordingly. They can launch the details to start to see the individual details and update statuses from here if they'd like as well. All right, and up at the top you can see that you can filter by various sprints, search by specific task names, as well as individual assignees as well. Okay. So another option is, instead of having team members work directly in the Agile project and the project interface, they are still able to work through their tasks within the task tab. So this would essentially be the Salesforce task tab where, for example, if I'm working on this bug, I'd be able to see all the details related to that bug, have all my checklist items, etc. And then as I need to update the statuses, I would use this status path to update the statuses accordingly from here, and that's going to seamlessly synchronize back to my project accordingly and reflect in my project. So in addition to the standard functionality around backlogs, sprints, etc., as the team is continuing to manage and execute on the project, you'll continue to be able to track the different risks and issues that are related to that project. And we also have charts that are available. So as the team is completing their user stories or their tasks on a daily basis, we're going to be taking snapshots of the progress within the project, and then you'll be able to see the relative burn up, burn down charts, velocity of the team. You can filter and track by effort versus task count versus story points, etc., and filter by individual sprints as well across the project. So those were just some quick key highlights of our new Agile project management functionality. We look forward to receiving any questions or any feedback from you, and hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks very much.